Hello, 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 and welcome in to Healing Through Reflection series on Heribet's Thoughts podcast. Stay tuned, come on in, invite your friends, and we'll get started in just a moment. Hello, hello, hello. Here we go. Hello, everyone. Again, welcome into the Heribet's Thoughts Healing Through Reflection series. And we are on week 4, Self-Love After Trauma, How to Rebuild. Self-Love After Trauma, How to Rebuild. Let's see here. I'm just going to tag a few more folks in here. That I know made me want to come in and catch the live rather, not the replay. All right. Let's see. All right. Let's get into it. Okay. So again, this is the Healing Reflection series. So I hope you all are if you don't catch it live, catch the replay. And I would love to share this information with you all. Tonight's episode, again, as like I said, is our Healing Through Reflection series, and this is self-love after trauma. Excuse me. Healing Through Reflection. Self-love after trauma. How to rebuild. I feel like I got something on my glasses. Again, this episode is about learning how to love yourself again after you've been through pain, abuse, or betrayal. Trauma can make you feel broken, unworthy, or like you've lost yourself. But I'm here to tell you, to remind you that you can have Renee. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm here to remind you that you can rebuild after you've been hurt, after you've been abused, and betrayed. You can rebuild. Self love is not selfish, it's survival and it's healing. So, a few things that I would like for you all to just remind you that you need to know are the fact that, and I am going to go through my notes, of course, I want to be prepared, but trauma can distort how you see yourself, you know, and what you think that you deserve. Because, like, if you go on through those things, your self esteem just drops down in the tank, right? Like, you don't think that you're worthy of anything good after that. You feel so bad about yourself, and you may even feel like you deserved it because of all the, the brainwashing and things that you went through. Because eventually, after you hear so much negative stuff or go through so many negative things, it's gonna, sink into your brain for a minute. So I just want to remind you that rebuilding starts with being gentle with yourself, one small step at a time. And that can be anywhere from, once you out of that relationship, start doing things for yourself. Even if you're still in it, start doing things for yourself. Go get your hair done. Go, go take a walk by yourself. Go out to dinner or drinks or something, by yourself or with your girlfriends or, with your guy friends, if any guys that are watching this also. Go out and just relax and get you some peace of mind out of that environment. That's self-love. That's taking care of yourself, right? Even if you do it once a month or once, however, whenever you can fit it in, that's self-love to yourself. Just one small step at a time, right, Renee? And I just wanted to another thing that you need to know is affirmations. Like, I am enough, I am intelligent, I am beautiful, I am smart. Those are affirmations. Affirmations and boundaries are rest. Excuse me, affirmations and boundaries and rest are acts of love. When you need to get you some rest, get your rest. Let me see what you say, Renee. I think for me, Let's see. I think for me, it's realizing my whole life I never had a chance to be myself because everyone dumped their problems on girl. And I feel you, Renee. Man, honestly, we've talked offline here, but yeah, and that's how it makes you feel because you're like, I've been living for everybody else all this time, and it's like you forget how to live for yourself, right? Because I know for me, I lived for everybody else. I didn't know how to live for myself. I ain't gonna say forgot. I don't think I ever really learned how to live for myself. So, but once you take those steps, you got to start living for you. Do the things that makes Renee happy. I got to do the things that make Deborah happy, bring me peace. That's what it's all about. And you don't need nobody's permission to start over, okay? All you need to do is just make that decision. Because I know you've prayed about it, with your faith, and if you've prayed about it, you've talked to God, you don't need nobody on this earth. You don't need none of their permission at all. You do not need their permission because you already have the permission through Him. He does not want you living in bondage. He does not want you living in strife, anger, irritability. He doesn't want you living in those uncomfortable situations unnecessarily. I mean, yeah, they might make you stronger a little bit in the end, but He doesn't want you just living in that just to be living in it. No, that's not what He wants for us. And so once you decide to start over, give yourself permission to start over, then this is something that you need to know. Finding out you was being abused, right? Because you don't. It's subtle, especially if it's not physical. We're taught a little bit of arguing, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. No, that's abuse. That is abuse. There is such things: financial abuse, emotional abuse. I didn't know emotional abuse was a thing until I, come towards the end of my marriage, and I started really getting online and researching. Okay, I'm going through this, I'm going through that. This how, and there it was, plain as day. And I'm like, wow, because typically people think of the physical abuse, but no, it's much more than that. And honestly, that emotional abuse lasts. I want to say it is more lasting because bruises, broken bones, or whatever. And no offense to anyone who's been through, because I've been through both, but that emotional stays in you. But you really have to train your brain to get that stuff out of there. You really gotta like purge your brain and get that stuff out of your brain. That stinking thinking that they call it, you got to get that out of your brain and realize that, yeah, that's not how someone is supposed to love me. That's not how someone is supposed to treat me. That's abuse. That's not love. And you have to train yourself to recognize and realize that that's not love. I don't care how long you've been in it. You got to realize that at some point in time that that's not love. So let's do a little bit of reflecting. What, just give me some examples, and I'll put them on the screen for you as well. What lies have trauma made you believe about yourself? And you can, or you don't have to put them on the screen, but this is the first journal prompt that we have. What lies have trauma made you believe about yourself today? And if they haven't, if today you're good, then that's perfect. Put me a 1 in the comments. If you're good today, trauma's not disturbing you. Put your 1 in the comments, or give me a 1 in the comments. If trauma, and if you're driving or anything, I mean, I understand. But yeah, if trauma made you believe some type of way about yourself, or people who catch the replay, if the lies, it's putting lies in your head about yourself, think about that thing and retrain your brain. Excuse me. And number 2, we have, what is one kind, true thing that you can say to yourself today? And I will answer that if anyone else doesn't want to answer that. One kind, true thing that I can say to myself today is, Deborah, I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you, Deborah. You have come so far. You are doing so many great things. I am so proud of you. What can you say to yourself? What's one kind, true thing that you can say to yourself today? And just let me know in the comments if you missed this or if you catch it in the replay. And this brings us on to our next question, or next journal prompt rather, which is, if my emotions could talk, what would they say? If my emotions could talk, what would they say? What would your emotions say if they could talk? And I see there's a couple people on here watching with me. What would your emotion? You don't have to say it out loud. You can, put it down and write it down in your own journal, keep it for your own notes, because this is all about healing through reflection. So it's not about me. It's not about putting your business out there or whatever. If you're not ready to share, put it, write it down somewhere for you, because this is all about you healing. And excuse me for just a second. No, not right now. I'm on the go on the porch. Sorry, y'all, grandbabies. Y'all know how it is on here on Heritage Thoughts Podcast. I keep it real with y'all. So this brings me to that was again journal prompt number 3. If my emotions could talk, what would they say? And for me, I'll be honest. I'm on my healing journey, because I keep it honest with y'all. I keep it 100 with y'all. My emotions go up and down. They go up and down. Sometimes I may go through some things, or may have a memory, or of some sort of my past, and it can have my emotions. It can have me down. But then I work through it. I journal, and I may write some poetry or different things, and of course I'm gonna pray, and I'm gonna read my scripture as well. And like, okay, God, help me through this. What's going on? Why am I feeling this type of, this way? And I'll get through it. So if you have any thing that you all would like to say, feel free to let me know in the comments on the replay, or just again write it in your journal. And this would bring us on to our next journal prompt, which is journal prompt number 4. What's something good that happened today? What's something good that happened today? What's something good that happened to you today? I'll go ahead and share. Today, I went and took care of my taxes for my business. Yes, I went and paid my taxes for my business, for Heritage Thoughts LLC. but I went and paid my city taxes, and that felt great. Like, okay, I've done it. I've only had it, a brief time, as far as my official license, and I went and took care of my taxes. I said, God is good because He making a way, right? He making a way. I ain't making it, but He's making a way. So I'm thankful for that. That's something good that happened to me today. So I'm happy about that. I am happy about that. And we did have one more. Let me see, brown boundary. Not one more. Let me see. Hold on. Because I put number 4 in there. I didn't put number 5 in there. Didn't put number 5 in there. Hold on just a second, you guys. Okay, I got that one, that one. Okay, here's one. Okay, I think yeah. Again, I talked about something good, and here is another one. Is what would it look like to treat yourself like someone that you love? What would it look like to treat yourself like someone you love? Let me know in the comments. What would it look like to treat yourself like someone you love? And I'll add this one in. Prompt number 5. Let's see. Let me add this one in here. Journal prompt 5. What would it look like to treat yourself like someone you love? What would it look like to treat yourself like someone you love? What would it look like to treat yourself like someone you love? Not them. Treat you how you, the saying, treat people the way you want to be treated. So what would that look like if you treat them the way that, like you love them? Treat yourself like that. I will be kind to myself. I will be gentle with me. I will be loving and caring and nurturing with me. I'll be honest and open with me. And then what can you say? Put your answers in the chat, even if you catch it in the replay, or you can just write it down in your journal. And if you do just write it in your journal, let me know in the comments that, hey, sis, I worked on my journal. I worked on my journal prompts. Lets me know that I'm doing, what thus said the Lord, that, I'm following my purpose, that, I'm not just talking blindly to myself. And yeah, so we can keep everything going. Just, like I said, this is a healing journey. We're healing through reflection. And I believe I have one more. Yeah, this is one more journal prompt. Let's see. And like I said, y'all will hear a grandbaby or two in the background because I am a grandmother. Let's see. And this will be the last journal prompt. This is journal prompt number 6. What are some boundaries? What are some boundaries you can set to protect your peace? Ooh. To protect your peace. What are some boundaries you can set to protect your peace? What are some boundaries that you can set to protect your peace? Just a second. Okay. All right. Thank y'all so much for your patience. Like I said, grandbabies. But journal prompt number 6. What are some boundaries that you can set to protect your peace? And feel free again to write them in your journal, or you can leave them in the comments. What are some boundaries that you can set to protect your peace? I'll state a few. Protect my time. That's one thing. That's a boundary. Yeah, time, because people can abuse your time. They can use and abuse your time, and be like have no regard for you and your schedule. But setting that boundary is like, hey, no, I can't do this at this time, or no, I can't do this today, or no, I have something else to do. You're protecting your time, because we all have the same 24 hours in a day, right? But they're specifically for us and what we have to do. So you got to remember that, that your time is your time. Staying away from negative people or conversations, right, Rachel? Staying away from negative people or conversations, exactly. That's another one. Stay away because you're putting that trash in your ears, right? Those conversations, you're feeding off of it. So when eventually you hear something long enough, it's gonna be stuck up there in your brain. So yeah, stay away from those negative people, and because negative people, oh my God, they call them negative Nancy's. They will bring you down. They're never happy about nothing, and they're always sad. Nothing's going their way. Now, who wants to be in saying no is a good thing. So, yeah, exactly, it is. And you got to learn through growth, discernment, through prayer. You learn when's the right time to say no and when it's not. Because okay, say sometimes somebody may really genuinely need you for something, and you're the only one that can honestly do whatever it is at that said time. Then okay, I can understand that. But if it's not absolutely necessary and it's disturbing your time, your peace, then no, no, just simply no. And I had to learn, and Rachel, girl, I had to learn and grow in that because I was, I'm gonna say former or reforming or whatever, but I've been a people pleaser for a majority of my life. Wanting to make everybody happy, not wanting to see nobody upset, or arguing, or mad. So it was like, okay, all right, yes, yes, okay, yes, yes, yes. It's time to stop all that. It's time to stop all that. Put an end to it. Put an end to it. Put those boundaries up. Protect your peace. You got to protect your peace. And I just want to share a few Bible verses to remind you of your worth. And Psalm 147:3 says, He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Isn't that something? Like, he's not just a band aid. The Lord binds it up and heals all your wounds. He binds up your wounds. That broken heart, He heals that. Just come to Him. He'll take care of it. That's all you got to do. Just go to Him. He'll heal your broken heart. And then we have here Isaiah 61:3. And if someone would like to put this in the comments, feel free. But Isaiah 61:3 says that He gives beauty for ashes and joy for mourning and praise for despair. And I love when they sing that song at church. Yeah, the grandbabies are in here with me, but I love when they sing that song because it's like the ashes. Shh, baby. All right. Yeah, sorry about that. Pause. But again, He gives beauty for ashes, joy for mourning, praise for despair. Isaiah 61:3. The ashes are the things that you've gone through, all the hurt and the pain. You feel, you just feel ugly on the inside and the outside, everything that you've gone through. But He's going to give you beauty for that, beauty for those ashes. And what did you say, Rachel? You said, me too, people pleaser. I am learning to say and to advocate for myself. Right. And me too. It's a process. It's a process. It's not an easy thing, but it's worth, you are worth it. I'm worth it. We are worth it. We are worthy. God does not want us living in that state. Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that on there. God does not want us living in a state of despair where we go, feel so bad about myself, or if they don't like me, or if I'm not, because when you're so sad that somebody that's not liking you, that's the same thing. So therefore, you're wanting to please them. You want them to like you or love you. As adults, we want people to love us and like us because everybody wants friends and things of that nature. And so you're still a form of people pleasing. It's still a form of people pleasing. And then we have our next verse, 1 John 4:19. We love because He first loved us. right? We love. Hey, Lakeisha, thanks for coming on. We love because He first loved us. God is the ultimate love. He sacrificed, Jesus Christ sacrificed Himself for us. Hey, Keela. Jesus Christ sacrificed Himself for us so that we could have everlasting life. And all of our sinful nature here on this earth, hey, again, Keisha, all of our sinful nature on this earth, but God gave His only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, so that we could have everlasting life. Now, that's not love. I don't know what is, right? I don't know what is. That's not love. I don't know what is. I'm telling you. I am telling you. And thank you for putting that on there for me, Rachel. I appreciate it. And then this brings me to, and this is just these are Bible verses for the couple of you that just came in. Bible verses to remind you of your worth. And the next we have Song of Songs 4 verse 7. You are altogether beautiful, my darling. There is no flaw in you. He's telling us that we're perfect in His eyes. We're perfect in God's eyes. We are perfect in His eyes. You know, we're all together beautiful. That means with my crooked teeth, with all the mistakes I've made, the things I've gone, I'm still perfect in His eyes. You know, I'm still perfect in His eyes. He still sees me as beautiful, as darling, and darling is another word for sweet and kind and gentle. He still sees us that way, regardless of what we've gone through, or the choices or the decisions that we made. He still sees us that way, and that's a beautiful thing. And we can't get that love from no one else. Only through Him, because I'm not saying no one can love you, but they have to have Christ in them to give you that same love, that agape love, to love you like Christ loved you. You know, and when you get married, the husband's supposed to love his wife as Christ loved the church, right? So yeah, that love doesn't just come just from any old place. It comes from the Father. And then here we have Romans 8:1. There is no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. He does not condemn us because, again, He's not asking us to be perfect, right? He just wants us to believe and to love and to strive to worship Him and serve Him and to believe in Him, right? So He's not asking us to be perfect. He's not asking us to be perfect at all. He's not condemning us for the wrongdoings. Of course, there are consequences to every action, of course, but He's not condemning us. And condemning someone is just like really just putting them to shame, just lay out, making them feel like they're the worst of the worst because of whatever they did. That's not God's way. He doesn't love us like that. So if someone is loving you like that, that's not love. That is not love at all. So I hope that if any of you are going through that or anyone catches this in the replay, if you're experiencing anything like that, that's not love. That is not love. And if you need someone to reach out to, I'm here. All the sisters are here in the chat. We're here because that's not love. No way, form, or fashion. That is not love. And so this brings me to my last step. And like I said, you don't have to put it in the chat. If you want to, you feel free to. But write down one way that you will show yourself love this week. Because we come on here once a week for the Tuesday talks. So what is one way that you will show yourself love this week? Just one way. And it can be something small, like saying no again, like me and Rachel was saying in the chat. Say no. Take a nap. And I've been doing that for myself lately. I've actually, when I'm tired, and of course, I help with the grandkids, but when my daughter is home, she's off work, when I'm tired or when she gets here, if I'm tired, I'm sorry, but I'm getting me some rest. I'm getting me some rest. Even with, seeing about my mom and work and stuff. If I need some rest, I'm gonna get some rest. And so you'll speak up and not suppress. Yes, yes, Ariel, speak up. Don't suppress your feelings. Right. To be agree right. And that's, like I said, that's basically people pleasing. You don't have to agree with everything. And I've been there where you want to just hold everything in, be quiet just to keep the peace. And I used to think about, I'm a peacemaker, which of course the Lord said, blessed are the peacemakers. But to a certain extent, we're blessed, of course, through Him. But people here on earth will take advantage of that. If you don't say anything, like I've heard the saying, that if someone does you wrong, if you don't say anything, then they think it's okay and they're gonna keep doing it. Even though they know it's hurting you, they know it's wrong, but they're gonna keep on doing it. That's not love. That is not love. That is not love. That is not of Christ. That is not love. So no, no ma'am, no sir. That is not love. So just remember that you are worthy of love. Hey Cecilia, thank you so much for coming on. You are worthy of love. You do not have to live in bondage. You do not have to suppress your feelings. You don't have to do anything like that because the Lord says He will give us beauty for ashes, right? He will give us beauty for ashes. So the things that you've gone through, the mistakes you made, whether you were, had a hand in the relationship ending or whatever, He gives us beauty for ashes. He knows you've gone through some things. You made some choices. You made some mistakes. But He gives you beauty for that. He loves you anyway. He loves you in spite of, right? So don't don't let people make you feel less than or make you feel bad about yourself. Don't do that because that's not of Christ. He does not want us to love that way. And so tonight's episode has been, of course, healing through reflection, and it's about self love after trauma. So once you've gone through trauma and you need to learn how to rebuild, and you got to change your way of thinking. You change your whole thought process. If you've been in a long-term relationship or, a marriage and you now in divorce, and I've been through it all, you got to train your brain. It's a whole new thought process. You really have to retrain your brain. It's like behavior modification in a sense, because you got to change your behaviors. And behaviors, after a while, you've been in a relationship for so long, they become ingrained and become second nature. So you really have to work hard at changing. Of course, you pray, you read, you study, but you have to focus and make it a point to say, hey, I'm not going to feel this way about myself. I'm not going to think this way about myself. I don't have to make everyone happy. I don't have to please everyone else. I can be me. I can be who I am supposed to be in Christ. I don't have to worry about what this person wants me to be or that person wants me to be, because they are not Christ. Right? They are not Christ. So again, just think of some boundaries. Like I said, you can set to protect your peace, because God gives us peace that surpasses all understanding, right? Peace that surpasses all understanding. So don't let no one disturb your peace. It's sacred. It truly is. It's sacred. You can't buy peace. It's worth more than gold, rubies, diamonds. You cannot buy it. Don't let anyone disturb your peace. Do not let anyone disturb your peace. So again, this episode was about learning how to love yourself again after you've been through pain, abuse, or betrayal. So just remember to love yourself. Self-love is not selfish. It's survival and it's healing. Because trauma can make you feel like you're broken, like you're unworthy, like you've just lost yourself. You don't know who you are anymore, right? So just remember again that self-love isn't selfish. It's survival and it's healing. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I would love to, help you with those questions or answer those questions. But if not, just write the prompts on the journal, in your journal, in your personal journal, and just work through those things. Just remember to protect your peace, that, you're worthy of self-love. You're worthy of loving yourself. And you're worthy of someone else loving you as Christ loved the church. That's what real love is. So they look for those definitions of love. That's what Christ has for us. And ladies, I just want to thank you all so much for coming in here with me today. I really do appreciate it. I don't take it lightly at all. I thank you so much. As I'm sharing this message, it helps me. It helps uplift me as well. So again, I just want to thank you all for joining, and I will be back next week with another topic, and I will, of course, let you all know in the chats. And it'll be at 6 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. That's typically when it airs, at 6 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. I hear on Facebook or on YouTube, on my Hairbeds Thoughts channel on YouTube, or my Deborah Jefferson page, or my Hairbeds Thoughts page on Facebook. So make sure you tune in, catch the replay. Even watch some of the other ones, because it's here. This is the Healing Through Reflection series. So you gotta look back. You gotta look back and reflect on what you've gone through in order to get to where you're going. And I'm Deborah J. I want to thank y'all so much for coming on, and you have a wonderfully blessed day.